Righto guys, so Fishinstraya here today. We're doing something weird. Doesn't usually happen. But I think I'm gonna start doing it. So usually my upload schedule involves one fishing video a week. I'm thinking we'll see how this video goes. And what else, how we go. But I'm thinking about doing a video like this as well as a fishing video every single week, just talking about a small topic about fishing. So first things first, we're going to be talking about trout fishing with hardbody lures. So I'm talking about like your rivers, so like your Southesk rivers, your Meander River, your St Pat's River, your Northesk River, and this will also work for like pretty much, I'm talking from 30 centimeters to a meter deep rivers that are ideally rocky. That's what I like to fish. I like to fish a rocky bottom, ideally if I can. If there's rocks, I'm in love with it. That is my main style of trout fishing. If you can't tell, I love fishing rocks. And yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna go over, so if I was to go trout fishing tomorrow with hardbody lures in an area that's around a meter deep, like that's the good thing about hardbodies, they can be fished deeper, but I like to fish around that meter depth with a hardbody lure. But yeah, so I'm covering lures from 40 millimeters to 60 millimeters. I find in the rivers up in Lonnie and Northern Tassie, I don't really go over that much because a lot of the fish are small fish. Some people will fish larger style, but I like to stick it to that nice small, because big fish will eat a small lure and a small fish will eat a small lure, but a big fish may only eat a big lure. But anyway, we'll kick it right off. So we'll go from 60 to 40. So a very basic style that a lot of brands make, the 60 millimeter shallow diver. So this is one of the Hawk snipers. So I fish a large range of the Hawk snipers as I get them from AllGoods Launceston. So here's a couple of colours. So from top to bottom we have got, so we've got Killer Wasp, then we've got Black and Gold, then we've got Redfin Perch, then we've got Spotted Growler, and then we have got Black Widow, and then last of all Galaxia. These are just like 6 of my favourite lures that Hawk snipers make. I like one key thing that I find when fishing hardbody lures, I'll try and cover the day that it is with the lure that I'm using. So for instance, I'll use the top 2 and the bottom one for sunny days, and if it's a dark day or it's early morning and the sun hasn't popped out yet, I'll use like the Redfin, the Spotted Growler, or the Black Widow. As they're dark, they'll give off a nice little silhouette where the brighter colour will give out that flash off the sun. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to just mix it up and just throw a bright lure in a dark day and try and get a bite from annoying the fish instead of looking natural. But because obviously a bait fish that's usually dark, unless it's sunlight, isn't looking bright if it's no sunlight. But sometimes trout are silly, so it's worth a look. But I find these good 6 hardbodies a very great place to start. They're fairly cheap too for getting into hardbody fishing. They're about $12 each compared to some higher range, like high price point lures. And like I say, AllGoods Outfitters in Launceston has them, so they're fairly good. But a couple of other places, a couple of other brands that, like, I mean, majority of companies do it, but around a lure around this. But Eco Gear make one, Strike Pro make one, Atomic make one. AllGoods Outfitters have a 65 Atomic range in there, which is very nice. I just don't have any on me at the moment. As well, if you wanted to go that little extra bit bigger. But yeah, so that's around the 60s. Righto, now we'll go down a step, we'll go to 50s. So these are the Jazz lures in the 50 50mm range. So I've only recently started to fish jazz lures in their 50mm range. I have previously just stuck to like 60s because I've never really found that difference. But as I've started to go fishing for hardbody and for trout more with hardbodies, and sometimes I've found that they're not aggressive enough and I'll maybe catch them 1 or 2. Sometimes it is really worth it to drop down that size a little bit, and it just makes it more appetizing to some trout, and some trout will be more inclined to grab a 50mm lure than a 60. So yeah, there's brief color range. I've got a couple of small white bait patterns down at the bottom, as you guys can see now. And I know every now and then, like I say, gold's a great color to throw for trout, but I know every now and then I like to throw around a white lure, just something completely different, white, clear, and especially in these very coastal waterways or waterways with sea runners in it, a white lure is definitely going to get the attention of something. Last of all, the good old 40s. So some people fish crankbaits in like shallow rivers and stuff like that, and if it's not flowing fast, crankbait is great, but I don't like them. So if you cast across and you've got water current hitting it, they get pushed to the side a lot since they're such a fat lure. But something fairly slim, just like this tiny little eco gear here, something tiny, something slim, that doesn't get attracted, that doesn't gain as much like action from the water. So like this will cut through the water a lot nicer than, for instance, one of these fat little hawk sniper crankbaits. Like these are great, obviously they've all got their own purpose, but for like if it's fast flowing, I would rather fish a little tiny eco gear like that. So that's a 48 MX48, so I'm pretty sure that's a 40mm lure. So there is the difference there. So as you can see, as one just falls out of my hand, we're not talking much of a difference, but the more you do trout fishing in this sort of waterways, you'll find out that it really sort of does make a small difference. Like whether it's just that 1 or 2 trout that you catch more, like think about it, how much money do a usual person spend on lure? Like we've usually got more than 1 or 2. So if you're gonna spend, like there's jazz lures around 15 at AllGoods Outfitters in Launceston, like $15 to catch an extra fish, where if you just buy a heap of hawk snipers in a certain range, in the 60 range, and they're not really committed to that 60 range, then you can't drop down unless you've got a couple of smaller ones. So that's why I think like AllGoods have got such a great like small range of like lures, because they've got all the sizes you need sort of thing to drop down or to go up into that 65 like I said. But yeah, so anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, bit different. Let me know in the comment topics you guys want me to talk about next week, and let me know if you want me to continue this. If you like this video, give me a like, but if not, that's gonna be it, and I'll see you guys in the next fishing video, yeah, which hopefully I'll be catching some fish, which would be nice.